Hi, and welcome back. If you're joining us for the first time, merry meet. Today we are discussing myths and legends. People always pass down stories to their family and friends about their adventures. Pretty soon, so many people have heard and retold these stories that everyone knows about them. Sometimes a story has been around for so long and been told in so many ways that we don't know if it's true or not. These stories are called myths and legends. Every culture throughout ages has had their own collection of myths and legends that have been told and retold over and over again. Each culture chooses to believe certain stories, and those become the history and religion of that culture. They could be right to believe. There is no proof that these stories are true or false. You can believe or not believe in whichever myths and legends feel important to you. Some of the most famous myths and legends are Arthurian tales. These are the stories about King Arthur of Camelot and all of his knights, ladies, and magicians who lived there with him. In this chapter, we are going to learn about some of the Arthurian myths and legends. First, there was a place called Avalon. Avalon means Apple Isle, and it is the name of a magical, mysterious island. Avalon is hidden in the water and covered with mist, so no one can find it unless they belong there. Living on the island of Avalon are the priestesses who study the magic of the goddess. They also study healing and medicine, and how to control the weather. The chief priestess of Avalon is also called the Lady of the Lake, and she protects the magical sword Excalibur. There have been many ladies of the lake, including Nimue and Morgan Le Fay. Excalibur is one of many magical swords in myths and legends. The first time it was heard of is when the wizard named Merlin told the people that whoever could take Excalibur for themselves would be the king. Up until that time, the sword would stay stuck inside a stone and would be guarded by the Lady of the Lake. Merlin was a very wise and powerful wizard. He worked closely with the ladies of the lake and fell in love with the lady named Nimue. Merlin knew that one day the sword Excalibur would be claimed by the future King Arthur. When Arthur was born, Merlin took him to a secret foster family where no one would know he was the future king and where he could live and be safe until he was grown. Arthur lived with his foster father and brother Sir Ector and Sir Kay until he was old enough to be king. Arthur's sister, Morgan Le Fay, grew up on Avalon learning magic and being trained in the ways of the goddess, so that one day she could be a lady of the lake. Merlin told their parents that they had to grow up in these different places so that they could one day be a great king and great priestess who would follow the ways of the goddess even though the Christian religion was growing stronger. One day, Arthur was finally old enough to be king. He built his kingdom and called it Camelot, and he married a beautiful lady named Guinevere. Camelot became the most wonderful kingdom you could ever imagine. Arthur ruled Camelot with honor and fairness, and he wanted all of the knights in his kingdom to be good, heroic men. He built a huge round table for them to sit at, and he called them the Knights of the Round Table. King Arthur's knights were the best knights in all the world, and he made their meeting table round to show that they were all equally important. There was no head of the table. Some of the most famous knights were Sir Lancelot, Sir Gawain, Sir Percival, and Sir Galahad. Sir Lancelot was the greatest fighter, and when he came to Camelot, he became the best knight of all. He married the Lady Elaine and had a son named Galahad. Sir Gawain was the knight who fought the Green Knight. He became a champion of women and always fought to keep women safe. Sir Percival went to Camelot as a very young man after he heard about the Knights of the Round Table. He had to work at the castle and earn the right to be a knight. He became one of the greatest knights and was one of the 3 elect who found the Holy Grail. Sir Galahad was the son of the best knight, Sir Launcelot, and after his father knighted him, Galahad became the most perfect knight. Sir Galahad was destined to achieve the Holy Grail, and he was one of the 3 elect. The Holy Grail is a symbol of the god and goddess. It is a magical goblet that can heal the sick and feed the hungry. It is a cauldron that gives people knowledge of everything there is to know in the world. All of the Knights of the Round Table dreamed of going on the quest to find the Grail that had been lost for such a long time. They all traveled in different directions to find it. The Grail is guarded by the Fisher King, a title that is given to different men throughout the ages. Sir Percival and Sir Galahad were related to past Fisher Kings. The 3 elect are the 3 knights who finally found the Grail: Sir Galahad, Sir Percival, and Sir Bors. They found the Grail because they were the most pure of heart. Sir Galahad was the only person able to drink from the Grail because he was completely good in thought and deed. After he drank from it, he was filled with all knowledge, and he disappeared with the Grail out of the human world and into the world of the goddess and god. Sir Percival became the new Fisher King. When King Arthur was dying and Camelot was ending, a knight named Sir Bedivere took Arthur and his sword Excalibur to the lake where Avalon is hidden. Out of the mist came a boat with 3 women on it. One of the women was Arthur's sister, Morgan Le Fay. The women took Arthur back to Avalon with them so that he could recover from his wounds and rest there until the world was ready for him to come back. Myths and legends are very important because they give us inspiration. It doesn't matter whether or not they're true. It just matters or not whether the story has any meaning to you. And if it calls to you, different stories call to different people and inspire us all in different ways. Maybe you have heard some myths and legends that have inspired you, or maybe you will hear some that will inspire you in the future. Thank you for watching. Blessed be. See you next time.